Good evening. It's the 7th of July 2023, a Friday, end of the week, and this is my trade recap for the day. On my screen is the MES 5-minute chart, and as you can see on there, I've drawn these trend lines in, which shows this flag area, which was flagging. So, I was watching that this morning with the others in the trade room, and we were discussing how it's going to end. At that point we was about here, I think. So we had a couple of options. It's either going to come down, fill this in, and it's either going to come up, test it and come back down, or it's going to fill these up, it's going to break out, come back down and retest it for the long move, which you can see on this chart. That's what happened. Or it was just going to go sideways. We weren't sure. So it was the break above, which what would have been a great trade. And I did say that we should take the retest of that area, and I wasn't around. Had I been here, I probably would have had my order waiting for that lovely move up. That was good. That would have been a great trade. Hopefully somebody caught that one. For my trades today, I took. Let's get back. So my trades today, one second. Right, get my pen sorted. So I can move the screen. So for my trade today, I was watching the open, and at 8:30 we had this big data drop where we had news came in, it ripped and sold off and broke the low. And then just before in the pre-market we watched it come up, come back down, break the low again, and it did look a bit bearish, and I thought we might have just come up to about here and then gone down, made a new lower low. It didn't do that, as you can see from the chart. What it did do, let's just change the size a little bit. What it did do is we opened at 9:30 and we pulled back, we came back up, and what it was doing is putting in this little bit of a bullish flag. And so I did take this trade, and it was only going to be a scalp, and I always said it's going to be a scalp because I was just watching. I really only wanted to get up to here, or my trades were watching for the breaks of these areas as other scalps. Probably should have taken the break of that candle, but I waited. I was a bit more cautious. I waited for the opening range breakout on the 5-minute of the topping tail as well. So I got in. So I got in on this candle here, and I got out right up here. So I did take another trade, which is not a great trade. I saw this flag being put in like that, and I took a long there. I think it's on that tail, and I didn't like it, and it had no follow through. The volume was reducing. I realised it was a mistake, so I stopped myself out almost at break even. I think it was hardly anything. But what I did do in the end is I took the breakdown of this flag, and I got in as it broke through the bottom of that area. Again, it was a scalp, and the volume, we had this big volume. I saw the volume rising, and that's why I took it. I got in. It came right down, and it looked good at the time, and it pulled right back. And I thought, damn. So, but that's fine. I used that as a good opportunity to add, and I came out and I got out there. So another scalp, and I was up for the day. I did okay. I was only buying very small one contracts at a time, and I added another contract. So that's good. So that was a winning trade there. I would say a losing trade because I was a little bit below zero, and another winning trade. So that's done for the day. That's 3 trades. We were all chatting in the trade room today and was watching this set up, and as you can see, it's set up quite nicely. And when it was about here, we were discussing how it's going to end. We had an idea. I thought it might come down, pull back up, come in, break, retest, and go low. We also said it could do the opposite. It can come in, break, retest, and go high, or it would just go sideways for the rest of the day. And obviously that option, the break above of these 2 trend lines, were the winner, and it's something good to recognise because it came in. We had this area of accumulation where we were just going sideways on very low volume, and then we started to see this increase of volume just there, and that pushed it out above. It pushed it out above this trend line area, and then we had a bit of a pullback and volume reduced down. So straight away I would have been interested because I saw the increase in volume and it's pushing out from outside of this region, and the perfect trade was just coming up and I wasn't here for it, I was away, but it was the break, as we said, it was the break retest trade, and look at that, look how well that went today. That's a beautiful trade and I hope someone caught that trade. Anyway, I got back a bit later and I got back and the stock market was about here, so I was keeping an eye on it and I saw it putting in a lower low and a lower high, so I saw it do that, and then it came back down to here and it came back up, and I thought it's going to put in another leg lower, so I was keeping an eye on the volume again. Saw this volume spike and below average and reducing volume. As it was reducing the volume there, it wasn't really doing much, so I put an order in on the break of this area, which is the break of this consolidation. So as it broke this consolidation area here, I was watching this candle and it broke straight through. I got in as I saw the volume increasing, and had I been out or slower by more than a second, I would have missed that trade totally. And I literally took my order and boom, big move down, well, bigger than the candles before, and that was perfect timing. Had I missed it, it wouldn't have been a big problem because I could have got it back on the retest, or better still, I could have taken an RBI, and that leads me to my ad. So I was in there, it came down, I was trying to find a better place to buy. I was watching the volume as well, and the volume was declining, so it normally does that on a pullback. And I saw this green RBI set up as well. Technically it's not an RBI because, well, it's the second RBI because that would have been the first one to take, and that's the one I did take. But it was this area here I was watching, and as it pulled back up towards this 8 moving average and it stayed below the 50, I got in just there, and it was a great ad because then we just saw it come down. My exit, originally my exit was just below there, but I moved it because my stop was already at my break even was already here, and I had my stop ready at break even as well, so I wasn't too fast. And it was a bonus trade because I'd done my trading for the day, and it turned out this was my best trade of the day. So I let it run down, and my first out was it was going to be this area here. Let's do a straight line. So that is where I was looking to get out, which is the previous pivot high of the day in that pre-market, and I took it right on. It went down, and I thought, oh, this is great. I let it run down. It came back out, and I must admit I did panic a bit. And I thought, oh crap, I'm losing my gains. So I got out probably about there, and then I had another order on the VWAP as well, and I got out there as well. So on hindsight, I could have handled it a bit better. I probably should have just taken the one there, left my stop here at break even, and just let it either come back or lower my stop so it's better than break even. But what happened is we saw volume increasing, we saw this volume spike, again above average volume, and then look at this big ramp up in volume as we saw the market sell off. And that is the type of volume you're looking for on a sell off or the other direction. You want to see increasing volume as the market pushes up. So here there wasn't much increase in volume, it's always below average, and it wasn't until we got to here, which is that move up. But there was nothing unusual about that volume up because we had a big volume bar on a big candle bar. The volume before could have been an anomaly because that's a small hammer, a small, very small bar, and we had increased volume. So there was an anomaly, and had I spotted that, I wasn't here, but had I spotted it, I would have paid attention to it. I've got a little bit of code running background what detects anomalies as well. It just puts these little dots thereabouts so I can see whether there's something unusual happening. Helps draw my attention to these areas. As you can see, lots of unusual volume levels here, and it actually did work out well because it reversed and rejected this area. So that's my day. Bit disappointed that I didn't hold my last one for this rundown, but I was up for the day and overall it's a good day, and that's what you want to see on volume as well. You see it sell off, increase volume, it's pulling back on lowering volume, and now we're going to see hopefully the decline back down again, and that proves that this volume analysis works really well. So remember, on a negative move like this down, we want to see increasing volume. So if you're long and you see increasing volume, you want to be getting out. If you're short, that's a good sign to stay into the trade. And now if you are short and you're down here, the two bottom tails should give you a warning that it's time to get out. You should have been out when you saw the second one, probably about there. But if you're still in and you're holding, then you've got this decline in volume, which will give you peace of mind knowing that there's weakness in the market, the buyers are not there, and the sellers are probably going to push it back down for another leg. And finally, before I go, let's have a quick look at the hourly and the daily even, and see where we are for next week. So you can see we've got this top here, this nice double top put in, so we might start to see something like that come back down again. So where's our next level? Should be watching, yeah, I think the best level is here, 43.68 on the daily. We've got this high level of volume here as well, and where's that? That is going to be about here, which is not too far from what I've already marked off. And 44.10, an area I've been watching now for a couple of weeks. It played really well my trades here. It provided support, and it provided resistance initially, then it provided support, then it provided resistance again, and now support again, and now he's coming back down to provide support. So we should see it come back down, and we might see a reaction at 44.10, probably a bounce back up or a breakdown. So I'll be watching these areas next week. So 44.10, 44.40 is a nice round number, and obviously we've got this pivot to keep an eye on, which is 43.68, 43.67, that area. And so next week we could see it come down, maybe hover around and then break back down again, and we've got this gap to fill as well. So next week's targets could be there, and there. So it could be 44.10, 43.68 and 42.80, 4300. Wow, let's see what happens. Anyway, have a cracking weekend, and I will speak to somebody over the weekend, or if not, I'll see you Monday. Take care. Hopefully you had a good trading week.